Welcome to this EdTech Challenge screencast where we're going to take a look at how to share class information. In this screencast specifically, we're going to take a look at how to embed a Google Drive folder onto a page in your Google site. This is a super handy feature that I don't think enough people take advantage of. If you're using Google Drive, you can create folders. So I'm going to hop over to Google Drive here. In Google Drive, I've created some different folders. I made a folder for my students to access that I called Kafka New Media Files. The reason I name it that way is I put the teacher name, the course name, and then files. If I share this folder to my students, it'll show up that way. Another advantage of setting a folder up like this is you can set the file to be shared to anyone with the link. So I'm going to click on the little arrow and go up to the share choice. And in the share choice, just like you can share a document, I'm going to go here to where it says anyone who has the link can view. That's what we want to set this folder to. If it's not set that way, you can go into the change area, check that off, and hit save and make sure that the choice for access is can view. So folder is set up that way. I've got some files in here that I basically want to take this folder and I want to put this on my website. So let's go back over to the site. I have created a new media files page, and this is where I want that folder to appear with those files just kind of showing up for whoever visits my web page. Now I'm going to stress you should only do this with files. You should only put files in this folder that don't have any confidential information in them. So things that I'm going to put in this folder, I already have some samples here, are some templates for a script I want my students to follow, some notes, a copy of a worksheet we might have done. Maybe I'll put presentations in here from the slides that I gave in class. So now I'm going to put that on my website. So I go to my website, I go to the page I want to do this on, I click the pencil to edit. So here's the cursor. I go into insert, and the choice in here over here on the right side says I can insert a folder. And again, this is a folder from Google Drive. So I choose that. Now if I don't see the folder listed here, I have a bunch of folders. Good way to search for that is to start typing the name of the folder and to actually hit the return key. Even if you see it come up in the search, don't go click on it. Just hit the return key, because what you need to have happen is the folder needs to be showing so that you can check it. If you click on the choice, it takes you into that folder and you really can't check the folder from there. So I've done my search, I hit return, I checked the folder, I hit select. These are the choices for how this will display on the page. I personally don't like the border, so I'm going to turn off the border. I'll leave the title on so you can see what that looks like. The height of this embedded object is going to be 600 pixels. If I had a lot of files in this folder, I could come back in here and make this 800 or 1000, make it bigger so that people don't have a scrolling window within a scrolling window. That tends to cause a lot of confusion. So actually I'll do this a little lower. I'll do 400 for now and see what we get. Width, if you leave that blank, that just means it'll fill the width of the page you're putting this on. So I'm going to choose to leave that blank, and I'm going to hit save. So here's what it looks like in edit mode still, just a box that represents where that's going to go. I'm going to center this up, and I'm going to hit save, and let's take a look at what this looks like. So here's the title that I left on. I kind of don't like that. I might go back in and change that. And then here's the different files listed. So how this works now, let me go back to Google Drive. So I've got 4 files in here. Okay, let's add a file in Google Drive. Let's find my syllabus file. And let's check that off and assign it to that same folder. And again, I'm doing this in Google Drive. I'm just putting something in a folder. But because I've already set up that folder on the website, the next person or the next time somebody comes to my website, if we refresh here, we pretend it's another student that's coming to the site, now that syllabus file is there. So you can actually manage what shows up on your website just by what you put in the folder over here in Google Drive. Awesomely efficient for those that are using files in Google Drive. Another nice thing is you see here this screencast sample script. There's a description here. These other ones say no description. So where do you add that? You add that actually in Google Drive as well. So let me show that in case that's of interest. And again, you might want to do something very short, very brief to the point. I wrote 2 sentences here, and you can see it kind of trails off, so it really doesn't do any good. So I might just leave that sentence there. But where I do this is if I go back to Drive, I mouse over the folder again, and I click that little option arrow, and I go to open. This shows me a different view of the files that are in there. It gives me kind of little screenshots, the name of the file, and here's where that description field is. So if I was going to add a description here, use this to take notes during podcast presentation. I might just do one simple brief sentence to the point. Click out of there, and there it'll appear. Okay, I go back over to my site, and if I were to refresh, it takes a little while. I did notice I did this earlier. It takes a little while for that description to show there, but it eventually will show, just like this one does here. So what's great about this is kids can come here, they can click on these files. If this was a template, they could open that and make a copy for themselves if they want to. All these files are view only, so the kids can't change any of these files. They're view only, but they can open them and make a copy if need be, or study if they were notes, so on and so forth. So that is embedding a Google Drive folder on a page. Super handy. Thanks for watching.